Hi guys, we're going to do our last method of subtraction today, and we're going to apply the grouping method. Now I have to say this method works out fine for just straightforward subtraction. However, when it comes to borrowing, it's not the best method. You can use it, but I think some children do tend to get confused when borrowing with this method. But we'll look at these two sums first, which require no borrowing, and then we'll have a look at two sums that will require borrowing, and we'll see how it goes. So have a look at this one. Remember the grouping method, you group the tens together and you group the units together. And if there is hundreds, you'll group those together. All right, so let's just have a look at this. For this one, we got 70 and 50. And remember, you're minusing now. You're not subtracting. So it's 70 minus 50. And then now the units, 6 minus 3. All right, so that's very basic subtraction. Okay, again, start with the units. Start minusing with your units in case you need to borrow. In this case, there's no borrowing. So 6 minus 3 is 3. 70 minus 50 is 20. All right, put those numbers together, and you have an answer of 23. All right, so there's straightforward subtraction sum using the grouping method. Let's try it with this sum now. All right, so we're going to group the 100. So we have 200 minus 100. And here we have 10 minus 0. And lastly, 4 minus 4. Okay. All right, starting with the units, you can go 4 minus 4. All right, no borrowing required. You're just going to have an answer of 0. 10 minus 0 is 10. 200 minus 100 is 100. All right, put those amounts together again, and we have an answer of 110. Let me just stand back so you can see the full sum. All right, so there is the grouping method using hundreds, tens, and units. All right, so let me write that off, and we can have a look at some sums that will require borrowing. All right, so we're going to try the sum. 63 minus 37. Okay, so we're going to group the tens together. So it's 60 minus 30. All right, and now we're going to group the units. 3 minus 10. All right, so you can see straight away that we cannot do the sum. All right, we cannot go 3 minus 10. So we have to borrow, okay? So remember, we're going to go borrow from the tens. Now here's where some children go wrong. When they borrow, they go there. Remember, the city is part of what you're minusing. All right, so if you borrow, you have to go to that first amount. And again, like I taught you with vertical subtraction, you're going to take a whole 10. All right, you're taking 10 of that 60, you're going to be left with 50. You need to write what you're left with, otherwise you will forget and your sum will be wrong. And you can put that 10 there. All right, now you can do your sum. 30 minus 7 will be 6, and 50 minus 30 is 20, and we put it together, and we have 26. All right, so what I find sometimes with this, this grouping method, where there is borrowing, all right, so for example, we had this amount to begin with. All right, let's just rub all this off again. Let's change that back to 60. All right, so what I find with this method and where there's borrowing. So children will see this, 3 minus 7, all right? But what they will do is they'll actually swap these numbers around. So then they'll go 7 minus 3 to make it work. But you cannot do that because firstly, that is not the sum that I'm giving you. All right, I'm giving you 63 minus 37. You're changing the sum by doing that. And secondly, your answer's going to be wrong. All right, just answer's still going to be wrong. So don't be swapping those numbers around, okay? If you see something like this, okay, you need to borrow. All right, you cannot take a bigger number away from a smaller number. You need to go and borrow. All right, so I don't want to see any of that sort of thing. All right, let's try another number where there's borrowing twice. Okay, so let's have that 231 minus 54. All right, you also see that there's no hundreds here. All right, don't let that put you off. Okay, you can still do the sum. So we have 200, and because there's no hundreds there, what are we going to have? We have minus nothing. All right, now we're going to have 30 minus 50 and 1 minus 4. All right, so immediately you can see that we need to borrow here because we cannot go 1 minus 4. So we go to the closest bank. We don't go to the second number because that's part of what we're minusing from. We need to take off that amount. All right, so the 30 is here. All right, so we're going to take off a whole 10. So change it to what you have now, 20. You've got 20 left, and we can put that there. All right, 11 minus 4 is 7. All right, but now if you have a look here, 20 minus 50, all right, you're taking a bigger amount off, a smaller amount. We can't do that. What do? We go to the hundreds bank and we borrow. All right, and we take off a whole 100. Put what you got left with. All right, you've got 100 now there, and we're going to put our whole 100 over there. All right, so now we got 120 minus 50. All right, let's do some compensation. 100 minus 50, cover up that 20. 100 minus 50 is 50. Add on that 20, and that's 70. 100 minus 0 is 100. All right, put those amounts together again, and we have 177. All right, so just to recap, when you borrow, all right, you go to the closest bank. You borrow from the first number, not the second number, because that's the number you're actually minusing. And then if you have to borrow in the tens, you go to the hundreds. All right, again, go to the first number, take off your whole 100, write your new number, put your 100 there, and then you can do your sum. All right, so let's just see how it goes. Today, when you do your sums again, I will give you 2 sums that require borrowing. All right, so we're going to do those sums there. Okay, and those last 2 numbers again, just like with yesterday, they will require borrowing. All right, so let's see if you can do it, and just apply yourself and see how it goes.